Ladies and gentlemen, I have been hornswoggled. You see, I was under the impression that Miatas are reliable. It turns out they're not. My car goes on 3-week rotations, 3 weeks of working and then 3 weeks of not working. And we've just hit a, well, it might not be working stage, which is... In this video, we are working on the Supra again, and we have 2 major things to install, and I'm super excited. Last week, we got the side skirts on, and I mentioned that I need to make some racing vents here on the front to kind of fill out the front, and it was something that I'd wanted to do, and that is what we're doing today. My friends over at ATOTO sent me out a center console touch screen setup, including a backup camera. So we're gonna get that installed first, which means the first thing we need to do is pull the Supra out of the garage to get ourselves some better lighting, which means we're gonna start it up, and that always gets me excited. Currently, we have this normal aftermarket dash right now, but when you have the option to go better, that's just what you do. We are going to be upgrading to this sleek touchscreen 7-inch display. Now, there are bigger displays available, but the 7-inch is what fits my Supra. Now, it's not huge and clunky. In fact, it's super sleek. It comes with a whole bunch of accessories. It's compatible with the rear view camera, so they sent me out one as well, and they also have a microphone you can hook up, so that way you can use your phone to connect to this and not have to switch back to your own speaker in order to communicate while you're driving. I put a link and a promo code down below for you to check it out and get one for yourself, but let's go ahead and get started with the installation, starting by taking out the old one. And we're done. I'm just kidding. So all I've done so far is I connected the bracket just to make sure it fit, and it is super easy. ATOTO supplies 2 brackets, these inside ones, and they also have ones for smaller inserts, and then these outside brackets already came with the car. Now I don't know if they're existing from Toyota because there was an aftermarket stereo already that these were connected to, but I bolted in these inside ones, both these the outside ones, right up to the pre-existing holes, no modification or anything. That even provided the screws, and then it slides right in, all 4 corners perfectly lining up to where a hole is going to be. So what we need to do next is wiring. Wiring is always the scariest part of everything because you do have to cut wires and then reattach new ones, but the wiring they send you comes with labels for where each plug is supposed to go. For example, you can't read it, but this one here says right rear, so it's going to go to the right rear speaker way in the back. Now I bought these wiring harness connectors, so what these do is these plug into the existing wiring harness of my Supra and then leave the ends cut off, so that way I don't actually have to cut the wires. Those white connectors right there are exactly what I was just holding up. Now the harness thing that I showed you was only $5, so it's super cheap and will immensely help you get everything wired because you could wire it outside of the car, which makes life so much easier. I moved inside to show you guys how easy the next part is, because the other big reason that you buy these connectors is because they come pre-color coded. You see, when you buy an aftermarket stereo, they all have these labels on them, but they also have the same colors for every single wiring harness. Now if you look at these ones, you're going to see green is attached to green, green to green, purple to purple, purple to purple, gray to gray, gray to gray. It's all the same. As you may have noticed, I kind of mentioned green twice. Well, that's because there's a green positive and a green negative. How do you know which is positive and which is negative? Well, it's super easy. First off, it's labeled on this side, but if it's not labeled, negative has a black stripe in it. It's a little tough to see with this camera angle, but as soon as you look at your wires, you'll be able to know. So we're gonna undo these pins right here, pull these off, and then use this existing harness, plug in to here. We finished connecting all the wires, and now it's time to start plugging them in and getting the unit installed in the center console. There's extra ones that are going to be plugged in as well, and we'll run through those afterwards. And once we get that plugged in and the center console installed, then we can run and get the rear view camera mounted. I don't know if anyone's told you recently, but bananas stinking delicious. Ugh. Speaking of bananas, we've got our unit in. Now, it's not finished being installed, obviously, since there's wires coming out here and there, but those are just gonna be run elsewhere. We have our microphone that's gonna be run up to either the top here or to the side, and then we have our rear view camera, which is gonna go all the way to the back. But for the most part, this is all in. It's plugged in and everything. So we're gonna actually turn on the car now and give this a test run to make sure that everything is fine before we plug everything back in and have to redo the work a second time. With things working on the display, it's now time to turn our attention to installing the rear camera. Now, ATOTO supplied us with a rear view camera that mounts right to a license plate. But if you're looking at the back, you may have a valid question of where are the wires going to go? Secret tunnel. That's right, we're gonna wire it through this side marker here. And this is really gonna help us out for two reasons specifically. The first is the fact that this actually connects to the tail light and leads straight inside the car. It comes right through the backside here, and this is perfect because we actually need to use the reverse light from the tail light as the signal light for when the rear view camera should turn on. So we're going to start by getting the rear view camera hooked up on the back and then getting those wires inside, and then I'll show you where to connect them. One of the things about these rear view cameras that a lot of people don't know or don't realize is that the bracket actually is supposed to go behind the license plate. It's not supposed to go in the front, blocking anything on the front and looking tacky. It sleekly sneaks in behind, and then the camera still fits right over top perfectly, so it looks so much better without actually looking like it's tacked on. So with the wires run inside, I connected two wires which are obvious to tell where they go, and this pink wire is our signal wire / power wire, and then our black wire is the ground. So here's how we're gonna connect those. With this pink wire, we're gonna attach it to the reverse light of the tail light, which is right here. So we're gonna pull this white part out, connect this to the tail light section, and then that will be all for that. As for the black wire, all we need to do is find a ground that plugs into some part of the frame and then attach this as well. And it's just that simple. So being that simple, I'm gonna go get a snack first, so I get motivation. Got it all wired up, so now it's time to head back to the driver's side, turn the car on, and test and see if it's actually working, which it should be, because if it's not, I will cry. Well, the car sounds like it's dying, but at least the camera works. The last thing that we have to do for this project before we move on to the side skirts and making those race vents, so let's get all the panels and everything tucked back away so we can move on. That just looks so sleek in there. Oh, the screen is perfectly reflected and it fits perfectly. That's amazing. Again, there's a link and a promo code in the description down below if you want to check out one for yourself. Again, they also have different sizes. One's for Apple, Android, whatever fits, they got it. Give them a look down below and let's move on to making those vents. Man, that looks pretty good right there, I'm not gonna lie. So we moved the work up the driveway for what reason? There really isn't one, but time to make ourselves some vents for the side skirts, and actually should be pretty simple. Also, I will give someone a thumbs up if they can guess what section of the driveway I have not cleaned yet. So I made this cutout, which is going to represent what our vent will look like. And it's a really simple design. We have this part to extend the side skirt, this part is the vents, and this part meshes with the car. So you slide that right up under there, bring it to the end, and that's as simple as it gets. Now you may be wondering, all right, now you got to make a template for the other side. Oh no. NANI? Philip, that was so simple. It feels like it should be more complicated. Well, sometimes it's just not, because we haven't gotten to the complicated part yet, so the tears are still inside myself, and I will cry later when things don't go as smoothly as I planned. But for now, we need to trace this out onto our plastic and then get it cut out. So I tried to do something big brain. The idea was I was gonna cut a slit on the side here and then be able to fold them, but it's bowing. And now it's snapped. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna finish cutting this all the way through, and then we're gonna have to epoxy these to the side to get ourselves the right angle we want. Otherwise, that snap would have been bound to happen eventually. So unfortunately, good idea, bad execution. So let's go ahead and glue those pieces together now. Oregon weather makes no sense, man. Yesterday it was like 70 degrees and sunny, and today it's overcast and rainy. This is just stupid, but at least my car looks good. We have our side skirt extension together and it looks really good. So we have just one more thing to do, and that is actually mount it. Now we're doing this with two separate ways, one with a bottom mount, one with a top mount. It's really that simple. I already have the L bracket made, so we're gonna use that. And let's go ahead, drill the holes, put in the rev nuts, and attach it so we can see how good it looks. My imagination is already running wild. This is great. We finished, kind of. We finished. Although something broke. So for the most part we are done, but you might be able to tell we have a soldier that has fallen in action. So we were able to get the two top mounting points that you could see with the two screws there, but as I was trying to drill the bottom ones, it shattered, which is a good enough reminder right now. This is why people generally work with ABS and not other plastics, because other plastics tend to shatter while ABS does not. So this is on and it looks really good, and it leaves me with a couple options, and the one I'm looking at is just making brackets on the bottom here, another L bracket like up top to attach to the side splitter here, because I thought it would look weird not having the splitter extend all the way forward, but you can't tell, and in fact if we extend it forward now, then we'd have to deal with more trimming, which we'd end up having to trim it back anyway. Oh, that just looks so cool anyway. So this is where we're gonna end it today. We made side skirts and we have ourselves a super nice ATOTO 7-inch display inside our car, which again, link in the description with a promo code if you want to check one out for yourself. I want to look at it one last time. That just looks so stinking sleek in there. Oh, that fits so well. This is where we're gonna end the video. Of course, merch links in the description below if you want to get yourself a jacket or something else. If not, thank you so much for watching. Please consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys next time. Adios.